two, one.
Check it out. Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Nigeria. It's a television Nigerian. My name is Anthony Momodi. Welcome to today's broadcast. I'm not alone. I've got my co-host here. We are geared to ensure your day is truly awesome.
Yes, my name is Cynthia Agbo, and today is 27th April 2018, which makes it history. It's a historic day as early as of the day. Jinx since 1953 was broken as two brothers, two nations broke the Berlin-like wall as Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae in crisscrossed from south to north and north to south. I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, it was historic at exactly around 9:30 something a.m. Talking about their time, local time there. That's a historic moment where both the south and north met at the borderline and shook hands. It was electrifying. You could see both men smiling. They meant business. And so it's awesome. The whole world was agog with celebration, knowing that it means less war, more peace to the world.
To be honest with you, when I saw on the news yesterday, I was thinking it wasn't going to be possible. I was thinking maybe someone might come up with one reason or the other not to make it, but we are happy it's historic.
All right, today, UN Day, World Freedom Day is today, and meanwhile, it's not just thank God it's Friday, it's also DPRK and it's also ROK Day. Talking about the two South and North Korean Republic, we're celebrating them today. Hopefully today, we'll be looking at a very interesting discussion as Nigeria gets ready for the World Cup. We're looking at picking Nigeria's World Cup squad, looking at the players' form and how well the decision of picking the players is going to be. And also, hopefully, we'll be looking at reviewing the 2017-2018 season, talking about leagues across the world. But before we do all those good things, we have to start with our concerns of the day.
All right, like we said earlier, Kim Jong-un becomes the first leader to visit South Korea since 1953, arrives at the Peace House border at 9:29 a.m. local time, which is historic.
Yeah, and Japan and Shinzo Abe, talking about the president, are worried this summit might go the way of previous meetings and that they are left in the loop.
All right, so Barcelona and Argentine captain Lionel Messi has won his fight to register himself as a trademark.
We couldn't help that being a concern of it. It tells you how awesome this guy or this Argentine player is. The first human being to get himself registered as a trademark. You know what that means? For life, the money is going to keep coming because he's already a great player. He's done a lot. But congratulations to Lionel Messi. It means you can achieve anything you put your mind into. We hope someday, once you're a good player, could also do that.
Yeah. Sure, maybe Mikel or Gallo.
Let's see what happens. No, it has to be upcoming. Those guys.
Alex Iwobi.
I think he's gonna.
Nacho.
Yeah, Alex Iwobi looks more like it.
Really?
All right, the next one.
Famous American actor Bill Cosby faces up to 30 years in jail after being found guilty of sexual assault by drugging some of his victims.
It's very sad. He was awesome in the 80s, 90s. You couldn't miss the Cosby Show. It was so interesting. You could learn a lot of lessons for families to learn from. But it's amazing how the star of the show just turns out. But like they say, every great human being or these great people that have some extraordinary talent seem to always have this crazy part of them. Because even Messi that we just talked about, he was a retard at a point in his life, and Barcelona came to his aid, and that's why it seems he's tied to Barcelona like forever. So Cosby, it's really sad. We remain your fan, but what he did, we don't like it.
But the truth is, I still remain a fan of Bill Cosby, but I still find it very, very hard to believe all of this. Well, some people might want to say, okay, Cynthia, why don't you believe that evidences are all presented there? But the truth is, I still find it very difficult to believe that all of these things were actually true. I still find it difficult to believe that he was actually drugging some of the victims. I still find a lot of things so hard to believe. And the truth is, I still, today, till right now, do not believe that he is guilty. To me, he's not guilty.
All right, that's the voice of a true fan of Bill Cosby, but the truth remains he's been found guilty. But we also have to remember that as a superstar, some women actually have thrown themselves at him. but the court of law says you're guilty. So, Bill, you're guilty 30 years, we might not see you again.
That's true, because he's already old. Yeah. So now I like to look into the recent high prevalence of HIV and AIDS amongst the key population in Nigeria.
That's very worrisome. When you say key population, it means the youth, those who are contributing very seriously to the national GDP and other, making Nigeria what it is. What it means is that if it's true, then Nigeria is in big trouble, because once this key population is wiped away or fall ill and unable to, bring out the production level, it means Nigeria is going to lose a lot economically and otherwise.
It's more worrisome than it is right now, because I remember that even as far back as 2012-13, I went for a particular one of those outings, outreach, okay. And we had the people get tested, young people get tested, and it was very disturbing. One of the universities, when we went to the female hostels, and it was very, very worrisome.
In Calabar you're talking about?
No, not in Calabar. If it's Calabar, I will tell you. And it was very worrisome that in the female hostel, most of the ladies that were there, most of them had HIV, not full-blown, but had HIV.
What direction is this?
I don't have to tell you that. Okay, it was really, really worrisome, and like the information actually leaks to some of the guys there, and they're becoming very scared that wow. So we've been living with people, in the school life, but I think that we a lot of things, a lot needs to be done, a lot of sensitization needs to be done, and please go get tested and try as much as possible. And don't think that it has to be through sex alone. Some people just feel that HIV has to be through the way you shave your hair, when you make your hair as a lady, those things you never can tell how it's going to happen. Those that do
drugs with injections,
exactly,
actually go that direction. Very sad. Nigeria used to do so well when it came to HIV and AIDS prevention and containing the amount we had, but apparently we lost it at a point we felt we had done the job.
Yes.
So it means NACA has to do more, and the Nigerian government has to invest more in trying to prevent HIV and AIDS. But very worrisome story. All right, let's go. Court awards former FCT Minister Bala Mohammed 5 million naira damages to be paid by the EFCC against the 100 million naira requested by the former FCT minister. It's very amazing. The court says you don't need 100 million naira for the damages. 5 million will do just right to pay for any damage you might have incurred for the illegal detention and all that. So it just tells you this is a man who has been alleged to have misappropriated funds. And now he also is showing how true that is, because if you're damaged 100 million,
where are you supposed to get it from?
Oh boy,
that's serious. All right, so Buhari now accuses non-implementation of protocol amongst ECOWAS states for the insecurity challenges faced. That is so
interesting. First it was Libya, that was the cross, the failed state in Libya. Now it's the protocol
amongst the ECOWAS states.
But if you look at it technically, the president might just be right, because we have the free trade zone within the ECOWAS region, so it means people can move in without restriction, and so probably it gave these insurgents the opportunity to just move into the different West African countries. But at the same time,
for a second, can the president just quit doing blame games and let us face reality on the ground?
He's just too good, too used to it. Now he's no longer fighting with the PDP. He's taking it out.
Let's go to the foreign stories. A whole lot of things happening in the foreign scene. And like we said again, North Korean President Kim Jong-un met his South Korean counterpart Moon Jae in the Korean border for the first time since 1953 at the peace border.
All right, make it a peace house also. The North and South Korean leaders are expected to sign an agreement that will see both countries share future nuclear weapons, understanding MOUs, and other trade deals. Now,
President Moon Jae-in briefly stepped into North Korean border. Then both leaders held hands and then stepped back into South Korea to begin the summit.
It's so interesting. You just move this way in South, you move this way in North.
And just then go back to one and do the business.
All right, so we're going to be giving you step by step how this interesting historic moment occurred. Peace and new beginnings are the strong themes of the summit, as both leaders say they aim to achieve peace and prosperity.
also, he wrote on the guest book in the Peace House, New History Begins Now.
All right, both countries last had talks a decade ago in Pyongyang.
And also, the previous two inter-Korean summits were held in 2000 and 2007 in Pyongyang. So
the two leaders planted a peace tree at the border to signify peace, and the outcome of the meeting will be announced a day after the summit.
All right, let's move away from there. Enough of that. Yeah, so CIA Chief Mike Pompeo has been confirmed the new U.S. Secretary of State.
Congratulations. All right, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg faces former summons from the UK MPs.
And like we told you earlier on, Bill Cosby has been found guilty of sexual assault in a retrial.
Thousands have protested in Spain over the rape case ruling in the Wolf Park case.
Now, concerning West African crude, Angola has cut its supply and export as spot deals slow.
And taking you to Kenya, let's say that Kenyan shillings eases due to importer dollar demand.
And the South Sudan is probing the disappearance of 10 aid workers were killed, 22 people. Workers' side were killed, 22 people.
All right, this is another sad story coming from the African continent. Malaria makes a dead comeback in Malawi as 22 people were killed.
Wow, sad. U.S. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley has accused Hamas of using children as cannon fodder in Gaza.
And taking to Pakistan, a Pakistani court has disqualified Khwaja Asif for violating the country's election law.
And Russia says there is no alternative to the Iranian nuclear deal as German Chancellor Angela Merkel visits the U.S. to hold talk on Iran nuclear deal and other trade deals.
All right, let's take you into the ever-exciting world of sport. Barcelona and Argentine captain Lionel Messi has won his fight to register himself as a trademark.
And Bayern Munich is to face disciplinary actions from UEFA over the unruly behavior after their 2-1 defeat to Champions League defending champion Real Madrid.
All right, now you know the big stories making the rounds globally. It's time for you to get to know how beautiful this country called Nigeria is.
Nigeria's Governor General from 1960 to 1963 and President 1960 to 1966, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe was born in Zungeru, present-day Niger State, and in 1904 to Igbo parents.
All right, let's tell you that Nigeria's Prime Minister from 1957 to 1966, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, was born in 1912 in Bauchi State and was educated at the Bauchi Presidential School and the Katsina Teachers Training College.
Our Major General J.T. Agui Ironsi was Nigeria's first military head of state from January to July 1966 and was born in 1942 in Umuahia, Abia State.
All right, born in December 1934 in Wusasa, Zaria, Kaduna State, General Yakubu Gowon attended the Barewa College, Zaria, before enlisting into the army in 1954. He was the head of state during Nigeria's Afra three shutdown civil war in 1967 to 1970 until July 29, 1975, when he was overthrown in a bloodless coup. Nice one, bloodless.
That's something is bloodless. Yeah. All right, let's get to know Africa. How well do you know Africa? General Olusegun Obasanjo's 21-year military career includes 7 in UN peacekeeping mission in the former Congo.
And in 2016, United States Postal Inspection Service expressed readiness to support Nigeria's EFCC in tackling corruption. 6
African countries are amongst the top 10 countries globally with the most urban dwellers practicing open defecation.
Not good history. All right, let's say Africa's Lake Chad region is said to be drying up, causing food and security challenges.
ECOWAS Commission President says investment into livestock production system is key to security challenges.
All right, now you know a lot about Nigeria, Africa. Let's put you to the test. Which day is known as the World Freedom Day according to the United Nations?
That's your question, right? We answer it later. Which country in Africa recently suffered a deadly malaria comeback, killing 22 people? Very simple.
All right, the first one, okay, go ahead.
Nikki Haley is the UN ambassador from which country considered a superpower?
Okay.
And the Great Wall is synonymous with China as the then Berlin Wall is to which European country? Who is Nigeria's current foreign affairs minister?
All right. So the answers, can we get the answers?
I read the questions, you give the answer.
Oh boy, that's a tricky one. All right, let's go. Which day is known as World Freedom Day according to the United Nations Day? It's the 27th day of April every year. And which country in Africa recently suffered deadly comeback? We know it's Malawi. Sad story there. Then we've got Nikki Haley is the UN ambassador from which country considered a superpower? It has to be the United States of America. And the Great Wall is a Great Wall to China, Berlin Wall to Germany. Who is Nigeria's? You have to give us this answer.
I read the question.
Who is Nigeria's current foreign
It's
affairs
a question.
minister?
I'm waiting for my clap.
Okay, let's say it's the charismatic Godfrey Onyema. Now you know.
Give him a round of applause.
So we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll be looking at the papers, the big stories. You'll find out what's happening right here in Nigeria. All right, welcome back from that quick break. You're still watching Africa's finest breakfast show. It's called Daybreak Nigeria on television Nigeria. And my name is Anthony Momo. It's time for us to look at the big stories making the rounds on Nigeria's national dailies. We've got the Tribune, the Daily Sun, Daily Trust, the Punch newspaper, and definitely the Sporting Sun for review. Cynthia Abo does it on us a kickstart.
All right, so starting off with the Nigerian Tribune, the big story here. $496 million aircraft purchase. Senators join reps, 6 Buhari's impeachment. And the writer here, Saraki, saves day, refers matter to Judiciary Committee. Senators commence signature drive. Afenifere, PDP, SDP reacts. That is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Elza Zaki wife charged with the culpable homicide. That is on page 3. Also on page 3, we have Boko Haram attacks Maiduguri. And a gunman kills 7 in Benue church attack. That is on page 3 and 9. And the writer here says Assembly suspends sitting, summons governor. National Economic Council recommends ranching in Benue, Taraba, others. Headsmen from neighboring countries to show travel documents. And we have INEC releases timetable for Oshun Guba polls. That is on page 7. And sacked Kaduna teachers protest over unpaid entitlements. That is on page 36 of the Nigerian Tribune. And if you look behind the Nigerian Tribune, you will see Russia 2018, Nigeria, Argentina match tickets sold out. I also have something on Messi is unstoppable. That is coming from Ndidi. And England FA negotiates selling Wembley Stadium. All right, so that's the big stories on the Nigerian Tribune this beautiful morning. Let's talk a bit on Elza wife charged with culpable homicide.
Well, I think there's some critics who say the strategic move by the federal government to, probably make it more difficult or give the Zaki followers a reason not to continue the protest, because once it's charged with this, it means even if the international body decides to intervene, the federal government is going to have a reason to say this is why we're holding her back, because she's under trial for X, Y, and Z, and anything that has to do with murder, it's a serious offense, and so it means they now have the right to keep her behind bars. I think it's just technically a strategic move by the federal government just to quell this continuous protest, because it means that if you have something against Zaki and the wife, take them to court, prosecute them, rather than just detain them without taking them to court. So I think the federal government is trying to be proactive now, but let's see how that's going to play out, because they have to prove that she was indeed responsible for the murder.
Okay, and the 496, this case has actually been on for quite some days now. And talking about the impeachment of the president, do you think that is ever going to be realistic in this country?
Well, if we follow due process, then it's not impossible. But you have to follow the process. You have to first, the president has to come before the joint house to defend himself. Then if he is not able to prove that he didn't do it or whatever, then the process can now be initiated. But it's going to take a very long process, and the fact that you've got APC more members in the house is going to make it really difficult.
Given all the things happening in the APC right now.
Some critics say it's another ploy by the opposition or the people in the National Assembly to prove a point that they've got a say, and they could actually, cause him some harm. So probably if they do this is going to make the president, be careful about them and not just do things without recourse to them. So probably they're also trying to buy some,
All right, so let's look at the killings in Benue. Of course, we cannot stop talking about the killings in Benue.
Yeah, very sad.
We have gunmen killed 2. This time around, it's not. We didn't hear us right now saying gunmen killed 7 in Benue church.
I think if you look at the way the killings are going, now they're beginning to make it look like is the Muslim Islam going after the Christians, killing Christians. So technically, if you look at it, you see they're trying to incite the people against themselves. And if Nigerians buy that concept, then it's going to be total breakdown of law and order. Then it's Nigerians fighting against themselves. That's what the external force is trying to achieve. So Nigerians have to be very careful. They have to read in between the lines to see that this is just a very strategic move to ensure that the Nigerian people fight themselves and kill themselves, and that's going to make it easier for them. So, but I like the fact the federal government has, for the first time, has seemed to have done something meaningful by trying to suggest that going forward, herdsmen will begin to show some form of identification and no more movement of cows or whatever, cattle across. Ranching is the next option. It has to start almost immediately in 5 states. That tells you the federal government is beginning to sense something. And recently we have ECOWAS having the summit between Fulani herdsmen and farmers. And it just tells you that the region is beginning to realize that it's not just about Nigeria or Cameroon suffering it, it's the whole West African region, and they have to come together to have a solution.
But don't you think that all of these things you've said, I still try to, I'm still trying to understand why the government will be going this line, knowing fully well that, like we're talking about yesterday, it is not possible for a herder who is of course, they move with large number of cows. I still find it difficult to believe that it is those people who are moving around with the cows that are actually doing this, because a man who is moving with his cows will not have the luxury of time to go and kill and come back and pursue cows.
There are two ways we have to look at it. Yes, it's not possible you having 100 cattle, taking
even
them through
50, even 30.
10. But don't forget, these persons, they have where they keep their weapons, they have where they keep all these machineries they're using carrying out this dastardly art. And so they might use it as a decoy. First of all, you see them moving with lots of cows, so you say it cannot be them. But who tells you they don't have somewhere in the forest or somewhere strategic where they keep these guns and weapons, so that once they keep these cows, they now change and unleash the mayhem. Remember what happened in Wonderland when loads of Nigerians, FCT residents, go to have fun with their families. Mm-hmm. It was discovered that some Lebanese and had put keg of weapons there. There was an underground where these weapons were found. So it tells you that this very criminally minded people can do anything. Don't underrate them. They have different decoys just for you not to know what the game plan is.
I think that the federal government know exactly what to do, but they are using this. Yes, this is a good move. I think that the Nigerian people would love this move, but I still think that the federal government know exactly how to tackle this, and they have to tackle it exactly that particular way. Because if it's about ranching, if it's about everybody has to get a travel document, you and I know very well that some of it is even very possible. Let us take away the fact that the other day they said they are coming from different people from Libya. Because of the porous condition of the border right now, every person seems to be coming in. Yes, let's leave all of that. Yes, there are still factors, surrounding the whole. But let us talk about the fact that the people are here and they are not tendering cattle. Those people are not tendering cattle. Rather, their work is to kill, and they are killing on a daily basis. And we are seeing it every day on the news. 10 people, 19 people, 17 people, 9 people, 7 people are being killed on a daily basis. I do not think that what the government is supposed to have done, first of all, is to say, show us travel document, because these people are not coming in, they are already here.
Yes, so let's assume they're already here, or we know they're already here. At the same time, if a security operative meets you now and says, okay, show me your ID to prove you're a Nigerian, you have what it takes to show, right? Mm-hmm. Likewise, if they also meet a header and say, show me your document, and you can prove it, that alone puts you on the other side. So it's also a very good move. It's another good way to get those who do not have genuine papers, like they do overseas, like Nigerians and migrants suffer outside the shores of this country. So that strategy is very visible. It's the only problem is how implementation. If the NIS officials would not compromise at any point in time, and also looking at the religious part of it, the Northerners, they not shielding these other persons who are Arab in nature, to just say we are all Muslims and because of that we're going to shield. As long as the people cooperate with the government agencies, we can actually make a very huge success in differentiating the shaft from the real deal.
From a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think this is going to work out fine?
Well, like I said, it depends on how implementation is done. If they are sincere and very consistent with it, I think it will give us, at worst, 7 over 10 success.
You've not convinced me yet.
Don't
Let's
worry.
move on to the Daily Trust.
It's left for them to convince you. I'm just giving you an idea of how it should go. All right, let's go to the Daily Trust. The big story is there. Benue, many killed in Hausa community, and that's on page 3 of the Daily Trust. We got Oyegu governors receive Modu sheriff's PDP faction into the APC. Page 13 is where you find that big story. $496 million expenditure. Buhari survives impeachment move. Governors back president over fighter aircraft procurement. And page 5 is where you get the details of that big story. We've got NCC remit 49.7 billion naira to federation accounts in 2018. Go to page 17 and you find that big story. Minimum wage, NLC insists on 66,500 naira as minimum wage. And page 11 is where you find that story. Kaduna files fresh charges against Zaki and wife. Page 12 is where you find that story. All right, looking at this issue about Benue, many killed in Hausa community. You see what I'm trying to say? They're trying to incite
The people against each other.
So it just tells you that this is a very strategic move by the people trying to divide this country. But I want to get your views as regards minimum wage. How realistic do you think this is going to be?
Before we're able to achieve the minimum wage that we have right now,
the 18,000.
I still find it outrageous how it will take a long time for someone to just accept to pay someone 18,500 when we know very well that look at the country today, 18,500 is not even enough. This is money that once it comes to your account, some of these people have even incurred a lot of debt, and they are like, okay, the money is even more. You don't even have a way to save except you have other things to do, to supplement the salary that you're getting. And then now they are fighting for another, increase in the minimum wage. And the truth is, just the same way it took a long time to achieve this, it will definitely take long, because right now the government has a lot of things they're tackling.
Don't you think because it's a pre-election year, this is the best time to force it down the throat of the federal government, because they know that if you don't do this, the Labour could just turn around and say, okay, every Labour faithful, every Nigerian, this is what the government is not wanting to do for us. So don't give them your vote.
Well, let us look at the other side of it. The other side of it, yes, it's a pre-election year, but do not forget that in this pre-election year, there's a whole lot of things that there's a lot of impression the government has to make, to the people in terms of security, in terms of the economy. There's so many impressions the government has to make, and so this.
But Labour is a stronger pressure group.
Yes, Labour is a very strong, and even that in fact we are all in it, part of it, and so. It's a 50-50 chance. Let's get to see how it works. Let's see how, because I think they've been talking about this since last year.
Yeah.
So let's see how it goes since this is a pre-election.
All right, the last story I want to get your thoughts on is looking at Oyegu and governors receiving Modu Sheriff and his faction into the APC. Technically, would you say finally it's just that
welcome home?
Yeah, he has always been there. So the PDP can now justify the fact that he was definitely or indirectly a mole to pull down the PDP.
Yeah, well, I would not say that he was a mole. Neither will I say he was not a mole. But the thing is,
sitting on the fence.
I'm sitting on the fence. But the thing is, he has always shown that he was not totally, spirit and soul with the PDP. And now he has come, just like come back home, welcome. We have been waiting for you to come back. But the thing is, he knows, he might have known. Right now, he's in the know of so many things
about the PDP. It's going to be dangerous.
So exactly. I always tell people this: if you have an issue with a friend and you and that friend share a lot of things, be very careful, because the day you guys will split your friendship, some of those things might get to spill out to the other person. So that is what is going to happen. A lot of, he knows a lot of things about the PDP right now. So except the PDP right now should start re-strategizing, and now let them be ahead. Now whatever he must have gone, giving information to the APC, they are already going to be ahead of them.
All right, so let's go to the Daily Sun.
All right, federal government bans herdsmen's movement in 5 states. NEC instructs Benue, Taraba, Adamawa, Kaduna, Plateau to provide land for ranches. That is on page 6 of the Daily Sun, State of the Nation. Senate speaks fire, furious over withdrawal of the $469 million summons Buhari. Senator calls for president's impeachment. You'll find that story also on page 8 of the Daily Sun. Blood flows again in Benue. 7 killed. Gunmen evades IDP's camp. That is on page 4. Kaduna files fresh charges against El Zazaki. You will find that on page 40. And fierce gun battle as Boko Haram attacks Maiduguri. Army appeals for calm, urges residents to remain indoors. That is on page 3. Babangida Aliyu ordered governors misled Jonathan to remove subsidy. This is this is said by Okunjo Iweala. You'll find a story on page 8. And if you go behind the Daily Sun, you will find some very interesting stories that definitely you want to read about. Let's talk about the Babangida Aliyu orders governors misled Jonathan to remove subsidy. The book by Okunjo Iweala really has a whole lot of things inside that book, and I think this is one of those things that she wrote about in that book. And how true is this?
Well, I think the president at the end of the day had the final shot, had the final say. Whatever advice they had given him, it was left for the Mr. President to take the final decision, and the final decision lies is his own responsibility. Whether they deceived him or not, as a president, you're supposed to have the third eye to read in between the lines and know if what they were telling was true or not, if it was going to work for you or not, and if what they told him went along with his conscience. I think he shouldn't blame anyone. He should be bold enough to take responsibility for his actions, for his decisions. He is the president.
Okay.
Or he was the president. All right, let's go to the Punch newspaper. The big story is there. PDP hails the National Assembly for summoning president over killings. Buhari vows to stop killings. NEC wants open grazing banned. Page 2 and 40 is where you find that big story. We've got ex-United Nations Chief Adebayo Adedeji dies at 87. Buhari mourns. Find details how well the president was mourning, page 22. And I've got government revenue down by 77 billion naira. ECA shrinks to $1.83 billion. You want to find out if it's because it's a pre-election year, these monies are shrinking already. And then we've got 496 million naira. 496 million pounds dollars. What's happening to the money? It's too plenty.
You like money too much.
So let us demand Buhari's impeachment. And we've got Killings Catholic Bishop asked President Buhari to resign. Page 9. President wanting a second term will never resign. We've got El Zaki wife. 2 others charged with murder. Page 40 is where you find that big story. And leaked WAEC papers. Police begin probe as Punchman petitions Lagos CP. Page 4 and 5 is where you get that story. And Melai IG Sean Senate invitation. And B. Cosby found guilty of indecent assault. But let's just get your views on the PDP heading the National Assembly.
Well, it's what the PDP might want to say is stepping in the right direction, looking at all things going on, the whole drama. But the truth, like I always say, when you know how this is going to turn out at the end of the day, why all the drama or the jamboree? Because this is Nigeria. A lot of things happen in this country. It's good to follow due process. We love to, set up committees too much for every single thing, and those committees take a long time. So the PDP hailing the National Assembly, yes, is a good one because definitely, yes, for the first time, National
Both
Assembly,
APC and PDP in one voice.
And in one voice, yeah. So it's a very good one, but it's not like both APC and some parts of the APC,
obviously.
Which, if not for certain things, they would have been in unity right now. But because of the different interests going on right now in the party, so some people are saying, okay, yes, we are happy along with the Assembly, and of course, don't be surprised. We might have some people moving to the PDP very soon. All
right, the last story I want to get your thoughts on IG Sean's Senate invitation. It was said that he was in Bauchi because the president is on a 2-day visit to Bauchi, and that's why. I wonder how convenient it is for the IG to go to Bauchi where there's no violence, but he cannot go to Benue where there's violence and his attention is needed.
Well, it just shows. It just shows to
That
you.
eye service, though we know he's supposed to protect Mr. President.
Yeah, but I do not think that the president also should have told should tell him, okay, yes, I have, apart from you, I have other security apparatus, around me, and so this is where you are needed. After all, this was the same Mr. President who said, I told the IG to be here and I didn't know he wasn't there. So right now the IG is supposed to be in a certain place and he's with the president. Well, what more can I say? You have to protect the president. That is what, if you want to say anything, I will say he has to protect the president. So what more can I say? He's protecting the president. So that is just it. Let's look at the Nation newspaper this morning. Killings. Federal government stops movement of herdsmen, and the writer here says ranching to take off in 5 states, Nigeria to end ECOWAS free movement. And the Ekoremadu selling of U.S. assets panel alleges. You will find a story on page 9. Ex-ECA chief Adebayo Adedeji dies at age 87. That is on page 39. Court ex-FCT minister's detention unlawful. And that is, you will find that story on page 4. And stopping Messi, I will be tough, says Ndidi. Stopping Messi will be tough, says Ndidi. That is on page 47 of the Nation paper this beautiful morning. Insecurity, Senate seeks Buhari's invitation to joint session with reps. That is on page 8. CBN pegs daily mobile transaction at 100,000. Just to inform. And $496 million debt roll in Senate House. Next, back Buhari. Education is key to development. This is coming from Buhari. You want to find that on page 42. You might also want to ask, what has he done in the area of education?
All right, big question. Minister of Education Ademo has the answer.
Okay, so APC leaders to meet Ekiti aspirants today. And lastly, on page 2, you will find NLC TUC insists on 66,500 living wage.
Like that, living wage.
Huge.
All right, let's go to the sporting arena and look at the big stories there. Look who's back. Kazola trains at Emirates. Talking about the Arsenal star is back from injury layoff for a very long while. And we've got Europa League. Arsenal won, Atletico Madrid won. Gunners head by 10-man loss, Ruji Blancos. And then we've got police charge 3 fans to court for attempted murder. Imo FA regrets Monday's incident. Read riot at Heartland fans. And we've got a Russia 2018 World Cup. Eagles not ready yet, says General. German plans 3 weeks of preparations, says he struggles with English. All right, we've got Mikel Beggs, Conte, Moses is right winger. And we've got Wilfred, the same Messi is unstoppable, wants Eagles to beat Croatia and Iceland. We've got Liverpool to reject all Salah interest. And we've got the other stories saying unification clash. Ryder offers £36 million to Joshua, gives him 24 hours to respond. Ebohi resumes full training, carries Nigeria's flag. Talking about the Super Eagles defender, page 5 is where you get that story. All right, just want to get your view. Is this not a very bad sign if indeed he's already saying Messi is unstoppable and telling us we have to beat Croatia and Iceland? Does it mean he's saying there's no way we can beat Argentina even after the 4-2 victory during the friendly?
Well, I still think that the power of life and death, just the same way we have it, in the Holy Book, is in the tongue. Now, it goes a long way to affect your psychology. It goes a long way to also affect the things that you display outside. So if he comes out to say things, it just shows that. Well, let us look at the context of the game. Nothing is impossible. Like I always say, football, nothing is impossible. Anything can happen. Just like when I was telling you about the game of Real Madrid and was it Real Madrid? No, Liverpool and Roma. You never. Some people didn't see that coming.
5-2 coming. Yeah.
Some people didn't see that, and so that's the same way. So if you start saying now that and you will not be able to beat Argentina, it just shows that you're actually limiting yourself by yourself. And so I believe that Nigeria will do well.
All right, being positive for the Super Eagles, I will be going. I think that's how we'll cut a wrap on the paper review segment. And So we'll be going for a quick break. When we come out from the break, we'll be looking at the Europa League, showing some highlights of the match between Arsenal and Atletico Madrid, and also Marseille versus Salzburg. We'll give you the highlight of those big matches, and we take a roll call of the Super Eagles players that are likely to make it to Russia 2018. Stay tuned, because you're just going to be part of those deciding who makes the team to Russia.
And Arsenal will believe.
It all adds up to be an incredible night. It's a huge semi-final in the Europa League. Let's listen into the Emirates.
Thank you, Kate. Well, the incredible Arsene Wenger reign draws to a close. He still has the opportunity to do something he is yet to do at Arsenal. Gaps, but still, Bellerin across towards the far post. It wasn't a bad delivery. Vassas on the left for Danny Welbeck. He's still making a surging run forward. It comes all the way across, and Lacazette well positioned, and he couldn't
be costly. Wilshere stands up a good-looking ball, and Arsenal do have the lead. Alexander Lacazette with his head. There's the breakthrough. There's the big moment on this massive European night.
Welcome back from that break. You're still watching Africa's finest breakfast show. It's called Daybreak Nigeria on television Nigeria. My name is Anthony Momodu and with Cynthia Apple.
Why did you call my name?
How do you call your name?
Call that name with prestige.
Okay. I forgot you are the wife of Messi.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Okay, before we go, but you saw a clip there about the match that took place yesterday.
Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid. That was Europa League, the second tier of European competition, the first half Champions League for the Europa. But it was very exciting last night when Arsenal, the Gunners, are trying to give Arsene Wenger a very good goodbye package by qualifying for the finals, but obviously it wasn't meant to be. After Lacazette put the Gunners ahead, we had the French talisman Antoine Griezmann doing what he knows how to do best, drawing back Arsenal by scoring the equalizer, and we had Sime, the defender of Atletico Madrid, getting 2 yellow cards, and that meant a red card, and he was sent out just 10 minutes into the game, but Arsenal couldn't take advantage of the one-man down of Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid, always a very dogged side. They have a very strong-willed coach, Simone, and has built that spirit into his team. And it was very difficult for us to break them down, despite playing at home and even scoring the first goal. Lacazette, the Frenchman, did put them ahead, but another Frenchman in Antoine Griezmann getting the equalizer. So it means Arsenal has to do a lot in the second leg when they go to Spain to face Atletico. Do you think Arsenal can actually get a surprise by probably beating Atletico at home? Because they need to win. If it's a 1-0, they will go shoot. So they just need just one goal and ensure they don't concede.
Yeah, well, because I like Arsenal, and if you ask me why I like Arsenal,
Okay.
do you know what my reason is?
No.
I used to know they have very fine guys in Arsenal. That's why I like Arsenal. But away from that, yes, so because I like
And they
Arsenal.
play beautiful football.
Yes, they play beautiful football, but I'm just being realistic.
Yeah.
The main reason why I like Arsenal. And so because I like Arsenal, and because I know that they are very strong men there who can do something. So definitely they
All
will
right,
do something positive.
Keep our fingers crossed and see if Arsenal can actually turn the tables around in the second leg when they go to Spain. But
Do
it's
you
going
want
to be
Octopus Cynthia to predict?
we'll just hold on. A day to that day, we'll make you do the prediction. Also, there was some other game that was also played. The other match was Marseille of France playing out, beating Salzburg 2-0, and it means that the second leg is they've made their job a little bit easier. So those are the two games that went on last night. Salzburg beating clean clear by Marseille, the giant of French football, and those two great goals makes it very, very useful for the second leg. All they have to do is just go there, try to defend, not to concede any goal, and they are true to the real deal. All right, that's not the only thing that occurred yesterday. Those matches were indeed heartwarming for the fans of the teams that did win. But the main discourse for us today is looking at the Super Eagles team that is likely going to go to Russia 2018. And we've got on your pictures, you can see your screen, you can see some of the Super Eagles players in action. There's Leon Balogun there, the defender, and the Trust Ekong wearing the jersey number 5. And you've got Idioni Gallo. These are the players gone in to make the team. That's Ahmed Musa, CSK Moscow. He went back to his team in Russia and he's beginning to score great goals. He's likely to make it in the team for his experience, for his pace, and for the fact that he's truly a very committed Super Eagles player when he's in the field of play. And that's Alex Iwobi on your screen there. He's the cousin of JJ Okocha. It means he's got that magic in his DNA, and he has been awesome
and
for us.
And he has to show magic. He just has to show us magic.
And you predicted he might become as good as Messi in the future. So we'll be hoping, and that's Iheanacho also on your screen. Those players are players that are likely to make the first 30 provisional list that the coach is going to be naming for the World Cup. And that's another player you see on your screen there, that's Brian Idowu, who is, he plays for a team in Russia, AMKA. And I guess his own story is very unique. He got into the team based on the fact that he could speak Russia very well. He was invited when the Super Eagles went for a friendly against Argentina. And on his debut for the Super Eagles, he scored one of the goals. And automatically, he speaks Russia. He knows Russia very well. He's scoring, he's doing great, so it means he's likely going to be in Russia. And that's a trust icon there also on your screen. And indeed, the man who says stopping Messi is going to be pretty tough, but he's a very daring midfield player. He's doing great things for Leicester City in the English Premier League, and so he's definitely going to be one of the sure bets for the Super Eagles in Russia. I know you love this man a lot, Victor Moses, wears jersey number 11. A very unique story also. We remember he lost his parents in Kaduna during the crisis. He was taken to the UK when he was pretty young. People had said if it were a normal human, he would say, I will never play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria because my parents were killed in Nigeria. But he didn't do that. He turned around and decided to dump England for Nigeria, and he has been great. He has been awesome. He was instrumental to Nigeria's qualification for Russia 2018 World Cup. And yesterday we were talking about him being the 29th best player in the league out of 30.
Yes.
So that's kudos for Victor Moses, and also the captain of his team telling us
Moses is right.
He's a right winger, because we know he's been playing from the left fullback for Chelsea, and the captain of the Super Eagles talking about Mikel Obi telling Antonio Conte, please, Victor Moses is the right winger, let him be the right. But it's funny, Mikel Obi is the one saying this, because Mikel Obi was also a very outstanding attacker in his early days during the 2005 World Cup, which Olympics, where Messi was also there. He played as an attacking midfielder before he got to Chelsea, and Jose Mourinho turned him into a defensive midfielder, and he never, got that mojo back. But when he comes to the Super Eagles, he does his thing. So that's one of the great. These are the great players that are likely to do us proud. Mikel Obi definitely is a sure banker for Russia 2018 as the captain and midfield maestro of the Super Eagles. And so we had the Super Eagles issues about prostitutes and other things. I know you said you were worried about that. Do you think it's going to affect the players? This handsome players.
Oh yes, this handsome player. I like the word handsome. Yes, this handsome players. Given that, I think that the coach definitely knows exactly what he was saying when he said prostitutes will not be allowed in the camp. But it just goes a long way. I think what the coach did was he just exposed us to the reality of things, that they actually used to have prostitutes, which I
not that they have. These people come around. Of course, the Super Eagles players wouldn't send invites to them.
But
women are naturally attracted to superstars, powerful men. So it's only natural.
I used to think that. Some of these things don't happen. But even if they do,
behind closed doors,
there's a name. You're not supposed to just call it prostitutes.
Okay.
Now,
can you give us a
let me give you a clear example. Right. In 2000, and I think the last time Nigeria played
can see some of the players in their dressing room already.
Okay. Yes. All right. So the last time Nigeria played, I think I was in Calabar then, and they played in Calabar.
I heard the Calabar girls gave them a good run for their money.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. But I when they came to Calabar, I remember the as a media team, the hotel where they were lodged. We had, prior to the time when they arrived at the hotel, a lot of girls were swimming compulsory. And that day,
they went to the pool just for the Super Eagles.
Yes, I don't really know, but I know they were at the pool. And it was actually, Calabar with the rain. It was actually a rainy day, but there were girls in the pool, and I was wondering, why would I want to swim on a rainy day? Yeah, some of my friends who swim will say that swimming during the rain is actually good, but I don't think that this is actually swimming because it's good, on a rainy day in the pool. But I realized that there are other things, because while speaking to some of these people, we got insights, we got information that, okay, fine, some people actually clicking deals with some of these players behind, and they come in, they come in late after the match and all of that. But I think that for the coach to come out to say in public, it's one, the name, the prostitute's name is where I kind of find awkward and inappropriate.
All right.
And two, these are not things you should even let the public know. Now, some of us, well, the media team and the rest of them, we might actually want to know some of these things that happen, but they're not supposed to be things that the whole public, should be aware of. And like, what do they call it? I think they have a name they call it. Some of these girls, and it's not even like it's many girls, just one guy to a girl. so
Just a call girl.
And some of these girls actually booked ahead.
All right, so let's come back to the news deal now. We're still looking at the players that are likely to make the team. You've got on your screen there some of the Super Eagles players. We've got Aaron Samuel, who plays in Turkey, one of the strikers who believes he deserves a place in the Super Eagles. But time is going to tell if he's going to break into the team. The coach has already told us this morning that the team is not completely ready for Russia 2018. I hope it doesn't mean that we should give up on the Super Eagles already. But we'll be hoping that on the forward line, where we have Odion Igalo, Victor Moses, Iwobi, Iheanacho, Kelechi. They're going to be awesome in the midfield. Indeed, begins the roll call. We have Oganio Onazi, who is currently injured, but is getting back. He's supposed to go back. Yeah, he has to go on for a test with the Super Eagles doctors to see how fit he is. And we've got Mikel Obi also in the midfield. He's the captain of the team, always awesome. He has a way of stabling the team every time he plays with the team. And we've got Michael Agu also in the midfield. Ogude also in the team in the midfield. So we have a bunch of players in the midfield, and so these players will be gone in to make the team. For the defense, we've got Abdullahi, Shewad Abdullahi, Chejile and Co, Tras Ekong and Leon Balogu making the back line. And these are players who are very certain will make the team. They play in Germany week in, week out. So it means technically the team, the Super Eagles first team players, are always playing for their teams, not always on the reserve bench. So that's good news. But the coach has said he's still looking out to invite more players so that there could be competition in the team. And also, recently we had this Obi from Torino, Joel Obi, who has also joined the team. So it's going to be a cracker. For the goalkeeping department is where the Super Eagles seem to have an issue. About Francis Ozoho, who plays in
the young
Spain.
Man that they said he was 19 years old.
And he looks older than 19. But
I know he's more than that.
No, but you cannot say. Some players are extremely bigger than their age. Because if you look at, there's this Donnarumma, who is an AC Milan goalkeeper. He's 19 too, but he's massive. He's got a massive frame. So
Zoho is a Nigerian, a full-fleshed Nigerian that has eaten bone, gari, pounded yam, everything.
He left quite early to Spain. He was in the junior team for a while before he came to prominence after playing one of the games for the Deportivo La Corona. So you could excuse him and say probably his age is on the right side. But we're talking about the national team. So even if you're 30 years old, it's allowed. For the national team. So
because you can deliver.
Yeah. So these are the players we're likely to see in the World Cup come Russia 2018. It's 49 days to the World Cup, and so the Super Eagles coaching crew have a headache trying to pick their team for the World Cup. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that the best man is picked to do us proud at the World Cup. We'll go for another quick break. When we come back, Africa's Finest Breakfast Show, we're taking closing turn. Cynthia.
Why are you looking at me? All right, welcome back. It's still Daybreak Nigeria right here on television Nigeria, and of course we are. This is the part where is the last part of the show.
Yo, looking at human angle stories.
So many terrible things happening. I must say that I don't feel nice talking about them, but we just have to say. Now we hear that we have. Let's start with the one in Calabar. 8 miles in Calabar, where the student was. Died as
Cross River University of Technology, a 21-year-old microbiology student who lost her life due to adulterated kerosene explosion, and she was burned beyond recognition. These are some of the ills of adulterated products, and it's a very sad commentary. This means that the DPRTA that talking about the body responsible for these petroleum products, they should do more to ensure that these products are not adulterated. This young Nigerian could have been a minister, an ambassador to the UN in future, but her life has just been cut short because the product has been adulterated, and it's a very sad commentary. This is no good news because she's just barely starting, and she's gone.
And it's so sad that the people where she got the kerosene from cannot be caught at this point because, well, she's not alive to say, okay, this is where I got it from. And, well, possibly nobody might even know where she bought the kerosene from. It might be that, okay, she bought it on her way from school in Ekwobasi, or she might have bought it around the 8 miles. So we just said that our heart goes out to the family and the friends, and everybody who definitely must have missed.
And we hope that the school authorities shouldn't let this just slide by. Should probably make an effort to show that the life of this young Nigerian matters a lot by taking an extra step to bring it to the fore. And if possible, push and see how there could be some bit of forensic investigation to see if the perpetrators could be brought to book, and if not brought to book, but at least the idea of adulterating kerosene should be minimized, just to save the lives of innocent Nigerians.
All right, so let's move on to Abakaliki, where a man was killed.
Yeah, a sergeant who was attached to a kidnapping
squad.
Shot and killed a motorcyclist for not parting with 15 naira. Is this the level of poverty in the country? The APC has to know this. The president has to hear this news. 15 naira, you kill a man. It's very sad. And this is a police officer who should be fighting kidnapping, rather he's extorting motorcyclists, and even going ahead to be so happy, trigger happy, to shooting and killing. And it caused some bit of uproar in that vicinity in Abakaliki as motorcyclists and the young youths in that community placed bonfires and were protesting. This could easily cause law and disorder in the community and probably more loss of life. Very sad story. The Nigerian police, they have to be open doing. This is 2018 and you're killing people for 15 naira note. It's very, very sad. We hope that the Inspector General of Police could call his men to order, especially the response unit, which is led by Abayomi, ASP Abayomi Shogunle. This is your unit. This is because you're in charge of the attitude and the behavior of police officers across Nigeria. We hope you're going to take this serious. We hope to reach you after this Daybreak Nigeria to see what you can do to bring this sergeant to book.
All right, and then moving on to the West, where we hear that a woman actually planned the killing of her husband, and after investigation, it was found that she planned with someone and then killed the man in his sleep. Probably it was in his sleep. But this is not the first time we're actually having women kill their husbands in their sleep.
I think from 2017 up to date, we've had more married women kill their husbands in a very dastardly way. And we are beginning to wonder, is it the return of, I don't know how to place this, but it's very frightening that women have begun doing the opposite of what it was thought men did. It was said that after the man was killed, his blood was used to write an inscription on the wall, trying to disguise like it was a cultist carried out the act. But thank God for forensic investigation, thank God for DNA and the medical field. And
she told the story.
Yeah, she was caught in a corner and she had to spill the beans.
I must say it's really, really sad. It's not like I'm sitting down here to say that serves the man right. Nothing warrants you to kill any human being that you cannot create. And you can't even create a tiny hair, so you don't have any right to kill any, but not even a fly. But the thing is that I think that women are beginning to overreact based on certain things. Now, whatever it is, whatever disagreement you have with your husband, whatever it is, maybe he has been that husband that derives pleasure in beating you mercilessly. Maybe he has been that husband that he cannot provide for the family.
You've got the courts to go and
exactly whatever it is, or maybe he has pushed you to the wall and made you feel like you are the lowest of all beings, and he has made you feel like you don't deserve a good life, and because of that you get to the point where you say, okay, I'm going. There's this thing they say about a woman. A woman can actually harbor things in her mind and act like everything is fine, but when she wants to retaliate and do certain things to you, she go out to the extreme and forget that there was anything in between called love. And so I think that I would say to women out there, it is not right. You don't have to keep things in your mind and punish the man for that. Even if you want to even punish the man, it doesn't have to be killing. Yes, we know that we've had several cases of men killing their wives, beating them to the extent that they lose their life. In fact, the last one that happened in Lagos, where the man killed the woman and the child. It is really, really
sad. That's a foreigner.
Yes, who killed the lady and the daughter. But even though we've had cases like that, I don't think that the women should also start having things like that. And like you said, from 2017 till this time,
we've got the standard case and other cases.
The women have been doing a whole lot of really, really wet things.
It's very. It just shows you, like you said, they said there's no fury like the fury of a woman. And if you look at the pattern of the death of this man, it's very strategic. They made sure they made love to this man. And they got them weakened out, and in sleep, these actions are carried out. So it makes it very dicey when your wife begins to.
Not dicey. It shows. Well, when you bring
So they know what
a
they're
case
doing.
like that to me, first I'll tell you, I would say is this. For a woman to make love to you before killing you, it just shows how deep she has saved the bitterness. It doesn't mean that she's not happy killing you. Do you understand? It just shows how deep the bitterness you have caused her goes, and it just shows that I don't know how to explain it that you're going to definitely get to understand. But normally men don't follow that pattern. It's either they're hitting you, beating you, and before you know you're gone and all of that. But for a woman to do that, it just shows when people say, I can eat with you from the same plate and still kill you. So it just shows how deep a woman is. And so if you have an issue with a woman, please try as much as possible to settle it. And couples, if you have issues with each other, don't keep things from each other. Don't hide it. Don't harbor things in your mind. Try it if it's what you both cannot settle. If you both have said that you cannot marry anymore, why don't you go to a competent court of law and see what you can do about it and not kill each other?
There are some sayings that say they're necessary evil.
No. Killing is not a necessary evil.
You've got the last story, human and good story for us.
Yes, this one is actually to all. It's very important for the parents. It happened yesterday. Yes, the woman and the wife and the husband.
FCT?
No, not in the FCT.
Okay.
Somewhere in the West. Yes, the woman and her husband, they've actually been separated because the woman suspected that the husband has been cheating on her with another lady, and so probably they are apart from each other. But they have two sons, which are about 3 years old, and so the kids, they spend time with the man, sometimes come to spend time with their mother. And the woman, every time the kids come back to visit her, she always calls and tell the husband, these children, when they come back from your place, they always portray certain odd behaviors. Okay. And the man will shove her off and tell her, it's your business, handle your kids. When a man and a woman are no longer together, they always have this bitterness coming through within them. And the woman always keeps complaining that whenever they portray certain odd behaviors, she sees them doing very odd things, and she knows that they're seeing it from somewhere. And so the last one, she said, okay, fine, since you don't believe me when I talk, the last one, she saw the two sons having sex. Imagine that, and she videoed it and sent it to the husband. That was what she did. I said, look at what I have been telling you. These are boys of 3 years old. So definitely, and then she told the husband, wow, I told you I have been seeing certain odd behaviors. Now it is from the woman's.
That's disgusting.
Very disgusting. From the woman's story, there is a lady the man has in the house. So probably they see certain things that the woman does. Probably, maybe she plays certain videos for them. Maybe the man does certain things that the children see. You never can tell what happens. But the woman kept complaining, and at a point she said, "I will not let you see these kids again." But of course, you don't have the sole right to say you won't tell these kids, except maybe you've brought the case to a competent court and they have judged the case and said, okay, fine, since this is a threat, no longer. Yeah. But according to the story we read yesterday, it is pathetic that even after all of that, everybody kept blaming the wife. And I asked myself, why would you blame? This is a woman who was the one complaining, and it was the man who went to make the arrest. That look at what his wife sent to him, or rather, okay, let us say the wife sent to him. I sent you a video.
I think it's very worrisome.
It's very worrisome.
And I think both parents should know that the lives of the kids matter a lot. They have to do something very urgently to take a real change the mindset of this youngsters, 3-year-old. It's very alarming, disgusting, and disappointing. I think they failed as parents. They have to save these kids because they're the future of even both of them, because these two kids could help them when they're older. So parents, it means you have to learn a lot, know what you do in front of kids. They learn a lot from what they see, from what they hear. So don't discount them and think they can't see or they don't know what you're doing. They're very, very smart. They learn a lot at that tender age. So we all have to be careful. We have to be responsible, especially being role models for these kids. Right, this is how we call it a wrap up. Africa's finest breakfast show. It's been awesome spending our breakfast with you today. Today is definitely a very special day, the 27th day of April 2018. And,
And it's a Friday.
it's a Friday. It's thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's
It's a party
DPRK
Friday.
and ROK. Talking about congratulations to the
Yes, the people of South and North Korea.
yeah. All right. Want to say thank you to the entire production team, to Mr. Noel, to the program manager, intern, and Philip, the cameraman behind the scene, doing all the magic for us to come out good, and Uchechi also on the sidelines, making us look good on set. Thank you very much to everyone who has made this production truly awesome. We are definitely Africa's finest.
And in everything you do, do not forget that you have to keep yourself safe. Life is very, very sweet, like I always say. It's a party Friday. If you're drinking, don't drive. If you're driving, do not drink. And watch the places you go, because, of course, we know it's not so safe these days. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Television Nigerian Owner. Yes, that's on YouTube. And also you can invite your friends to like our Facebook page, Television Nigerian. And I'll follow us on Twitter and of course Instagram at TV Nigerian. My name is Cynthia Agbo. You have yourself a wonderful and an amazing day.
Good morning.
And Arsenal will believe.
It all adds up to an incredible night. It's a huge semi-final in the Europa League. Let's listen into the Emirates.
Thank you, Kate. Well, the incredible Arsene Wenger reign draws to a close. He still has the opportunity to do something he is yet to do at Arsenal. Gaps until Bellerin with the cross towards the far post. Wasn't a bad delivery. Vassas on the left for Danny Welbeck. He's still making a surging run forward. It comes all the way across, and Lacazette well positioned. He couldn't
Be costly. Wilshere stands up a good-looking ball, and Arsenal do have the lead. Alexander Lacazette with his head. There's the breakthrough. There's the big moment on this massive European night. Get the referee spot, and then Griezmann in a race here with Kishani. Oh, he's lost out. Griezmann. He might have another bout. He will, and scores. Sucker punch goal. Antoine Griezmann, and that changes it all totally. The 10 men, the man who was in England, and it might be absolutely crucial.
That's criminal from Arsenal. Absolutely criminal. Why on earth are you...
Lacazette. Ramsey! Oh, another splendid save. What a spring, what elasticity from Oblak. Across away, Ramsey with another header. This is
Away goal.
That is it. It's a monumental result for Atletico Madrid. That
حكم اسكتلندي مرفوع كرة من بايات ترجع من إشارة التنفيذ يرفع كرة بايات ثالث هدفه في 10 مباريات أمامه أندرياس أولمر 1-2 مع بايات يرجع طوبان كرة بقام ثاني طوبان ضد مدافعي فريق سالزبورغ نشيو جول. شوف كيفية فك الرقابة يعطي حل البايات وكلينتون نشي اخذ مكان ديمتري بايات سالة كرة وكلينتون نشي في دقيقة 63 مباراة اندرياس
Senate to invite President Buhari over Benue crisis. Senator condemns President Buhari over Dino Melaye's saga. President Buhari arrives Bauchi on a 2-day working visit. And sports, Super Eagles captain Mikel Obi lists top-notch players for Montiel. These and more in a moment. I am in 10 account with AM News on Television Nigerian. The Senate has resolved to invite President Muhammadu Buhari to address the joint sitting of the two chambers of the National Assembly on the state of insecurity across the country. The hallowed chamber says he would brief the National Assembly on Wednesday next week. This resolution follows a motion sponsored by Senator George Akume, representing Benue Northeast Senatorial District. The Senate is concerned with security developments in Benue State, especially the recent brutal murder of Reverend Fathers and parishioners in a Catholic church in the state. Akume, in his lead debate, said despite interventions by the Senate and the deployment of police and soldiers in the affected areas of the state, human lives and property are still being wasted. Lawmakers consequently condemned the lingering insecurity in the state, in particular, and the country as a whole. They believe that it is necessary for the president to explain the circumstances and reasons the killings and destruction of property have continued. Senator Mohammed Shitu has lambasted the federal government over the alleged manhandling of the senator from Kogi West, Dino Melaye, by operatives of the Nigerian police force. Shitu, lawmaker from Jigawa State, said people are being killed for speaking the truth under the current administration. Speaking on the face-off between Senator Dino Melaye and the police, Shitu said Nigerians did not vote in All Progressives Congress to government to be mistreated. He alleged that the law works against people who are perceived to be enemies. He criticized government for treating lawmakers as enemies of the state, insisting that they are not enemies but represent people. Melaye was alleged to have jumped off a police van in Abuja while being transported to Kogi State to face criminal charges. In the incident, the lawmaker sustained injuries and is at the intensive care unit of the National Hospital in Abuja. President Muhammadu Buhari State and on the foreign scene, French President cautions of Trump's position on Iran deal. Welcome to Living Treasures Academy. Enjoy a conducive and serene learning. Qualified and experienced teachers. Equipped computer laboratory and library. Secured atmosphere, extracurricular activities, at the tournament. In an interview with FIFA World Cup Russia magazine, the former Chelsea centre-forward said that the team enjoys to play football. Nigeria will face Croatia in their first group match at the 2018 World Cup at the Stadium on Saturday, 16 June, ahead of their games against Iceland and Argentina. Shortlisted Nemanja Matic and David De Gea as outstanding candidates to replace Michael Carrick as club captain next season. 36-year-old Carrick was made captain when Wayne Rooney left the club for Everton last summer. The veteran England midfielder Antonio Valencia has taken the armband for season during Carrick's absence, but is said to be open getting the role on a permanent basis. The will be a vital part of United's squad, but he's 33 in August and with the club looking at new right backs. On the foreign scene, French President Emmanuel Macron has said he may have failed in efforts to persuade Donald Trump to stick to an international nuclear deal with Iran. Macron said this at the end of a 3-day state visit to the U.S. On Wednesday, Macron used similar language to describe frequent shift in the U.S. position on global issues, including climate change and the Iran agreement. Mr. Macron made changing the U.S. president's mind on Iran a top priority for his visit, but ended up admitting there was a big risk Trump will abandon the deal. He agreed with Donald Trump that any deal should include a wider agreement on Iran's influence in the Middle East and should cover the country's nuclear activities in longer term, as well as its ballistic missile program. He said he will work with Trump to build a new framework in the Middle East and especially in Syria. His comments came at the end of a state visit in which the two leaders discussed differences on global trade and the environment, including the possibility of the U.S. rejoining the Paris Climate Accord. President Donald Trump has until May 12 to decide on the deal, which aimed to prevent Iran acquiring nuclear weapons. He has been a strong critic of the accord, calling it insane. And that's the air news on television Nigerian. Just before we go, a recap of the headlines. Senate to invite President Buhari over Benue crisis. Senator condemns President Buhari over Dino Melaye's saga. President Buhari arrives Bauchi on a 2-day working visit. And in sports, Super Eagles captain Mikel Obi lists top-notch players for Mundial. Remember, if everything seems under control, you are not going fast enough. I am Nten Ekpang.